One of the most common questions I get from relocation buyers is, what does my budget get for me in the Greater Lansing area for a house? So in this video, I'm going to be answering that extremely great question. What does $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, and beyond get for you in the Greater Lansing, Michigan area? So I'm gonna attack that here right now. And if this is your first time here to my channel, my name is Troy Seifert. I'm a top producing realtor in the Greater Lansing, Michigan area. So I do real estate day in, day out. I really have a knowledge of what certain price points can get for you in Greater Lansing, Michigan. So if you're looking to move here in 9 days, 90 days, 9 months from now, whatever that time frame might be, I would love to be able to talk with you, even meet with you face to face. So if you'd like to call, text, email me, or schedule a Zoom call with me, all my contact information, it's in the description below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel because you'll be notified when new episodes of Lansing, Michigan go live. And also, you can scroll through my extensive library of videos as well and keep tabs on anything that might come up with the Lansing, Michigan area. And give me a thumbs up if you like this video at the end. So this is gonna be one of the most important videos, I feel, if you are looking to research real estate in Lansing, Michigan, or looking to move to the Lansing, Michigan area. I'm gonna be giving you a lot of different tips at different price points, just to let you know, because if you've been following my channel, you will see that there are many different pockets in Lansing. There's a lot of different suburbs. So if you wanna know the pros and cons about some of the suburbs I'm talking about, then definitely you wanna be able to check out each and every suburb, the videos that I have. Another basically library of videos that I made, and it was last year, but a lot of it hasn't necessarily changed, is I did a lot of what can $250, $350, $450, like certain price points get for you in Greater Lansing, Michigan. I made a whole series of them, but what I had is Zoom on whenever I scrolled in the MLS and I showed you in the MLS at this price point in this area, what that house looked like. So if you're more of a visual person, it might be helpful for you at the end of this video to be able to check out those videos, because that can be another resource for you so you can kind of see what I'm meaning. And even though it's a year old, a lot of those prices really haven't changed, and I don't think they're gonna change all that much in the near future. But even if you're watching this video 5 years from now, just know that, hey, at this price, if you hear the real estate market's doing really well and prices are going up, then realize that that house in that video, it's not gonna get you all that much, okay? So anyway, just some food for thought there as we get into the price points. So again, I'm gonna be looking at different levels because these are the most popular levels when I hear people saying they wanna move here. So let's start at $200,000. What can $200,000 get for you in the Greater Lansing, Michigan area? So what I will say first of all is you will be able to find a condo for sure. It'll probably be a 1 or 2 bedroom, maybe a 3-bedroom townhome with units that are attached together, so it's not gonna be a detached condo. You can get that in certain areas in Okemos, Hazlet, East Lansing, Delta Township. You can find $200,000 or under. When it comes to single family residence, more than likely in the suburbs like Dewitt, Hazlet, Okemos, you're probably gonna find a fixer-upper. However, in Dewitt, I just helped a client buy a just over $200,000 house in the city of Dewitt. But the one thing I will tell you is that the entire place, every square foot needed work. It was an older home in the city of Dewitt, had charm and character, but it needed work. And this was in Dewitt, where the average price point is just around $400,000. So Okemos, it's gonna be the same way. You might be able to find a condo in Okemos, but if you see a house for $200,000 in Okemos or under, it's going to need probably a lot of work. In the city of Lansing, just to let you know, you would be able to find a home depending on what neighborhood you're in. You might be able to find a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath home, maybe 2 bath, depending on the size of the home, but probably the size of the home will be around 1,000, 1,100, or 1,200 square feet. In the city of Lansing, you're not looking like at a huge house. You're probably looking at a mid-century home, a house built in the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s. And also just know at $200,000 in the city of Lansing, your taxes, although you might be able to find a $200,000 home, your property taxes are going to be quite high. So just be aware of that. $200,000 is a hot price point. If people do find a $200,000 house, be prepared, depending on what area you are in, that it's going to be competitive. If you see a $200,000 house in Okemos, just be aware, it's gonna need work, but a lot of people might be interested in it because they're like, hey, this is really cheap. So be prepared for competition. In the city of Lansing, what I'm finding, especially this year, is that because of the property taxes going higher in that area, people are taking their time a little bit more. I think people are crunching numbers with their lenders and they're not flying off the shelves. It might take an extra week for that house to go. But again, you can find a decent house for $200,000. In Holt area, you might be able to find a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 1-bath home. And that's the other thing with a $200,000 home that should be highlighted in this video, is that more than likely you are going to find a 1-bath home if you are looking in some of the outer suburbs like Holt, or maybe in Waverly School District, Delta Township area. It might be 1 bathroom. So you might have to compromise on some things. You might have a garage, you might not. So don't envision in your head that $200,000 is going to be able to get you a 3 or 4 bedroom home that's 2,000 square feet that has, you know, at least 2 full bathrooms. Okay, there's gonna probably be something on your list that you're going to have to compromise on, and it might be a starter home. But again, those of you who are looking for apartment style condos, that might hit your budget. But again, you have to pay those association fees, so keep that in mind. So at the $300,000 range, this is a very interesting price range because I feel this is the hottest price range right now in Greater Lansing, is $300,000. So if you tell me on the Zoom call that we have, or even just in a text, this is what my price range is, I do give you a heads up, this is a very hot price point, especially if you're looking in East Lansing. You might be able to find a 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath home at $300,000. That might be a little bit closer to the East Lansing downtown area. You know, just a heads up, you might be able to find something that might be, you know, 4-bedroom if it's an older home, but $300,000 in East Lansing, it's gonna be a smaller home. But in the city of Lansing, there was just a house that got listed at $320,000 on 2 acres and might have been about 1,800 or 1,900 square feet, and it's priced at $320,000. However, again, keep this in mind, the higher these purchase prices go in the city of Lansing, the higher your property taxes are gonna go. Those property taxes for that house are gonna be close to $11,000. I feel for the city of Lansing right now that they're gonna cap out, this is my prediction, that they're gonna cap out at a certain price point. So definitely be aware of that. Now in St. John's area, which is just north of Dewitt, north of Lansing, about 15-20 minutes north, St. John's, they are doing some new builds. I haven't really talked about new builds that much because you can't really find new builds at $200,000, but at $300,000, they're doing some 2-bedroom, 2-bath condos, smaller, in St. John's, around $300,000. So definitely, if you're looking for condos, I think that they are attached units where you might have one neighbor on the other side of you, but that's what you can find in St. John's, like a brand new built condo. But overall, even in Holt, in Okemos, like you might be able to find a 1950s, 60s, 1970 home that might need a little bit of work. It's not gonna be completely move-in ready, might need some cosmetic work. You might be able to find it at $300,000. You know, it might be a 13, 14, 1,500 square foot home. And the one thing that people pay attention to when they look at data, if you're a data person, just kind of anticipate that in Okemos right now, you're going to pay minimum $200 a square foot. So if I'm looking at a $300,000 house in Okemos, it's gonna be like a 1,500 square foot house. Now in City of Lansing, that price per square foot goes down. You might be able to find at a $300,000, a 2,000 square foot home, you know, a little bit larger home, more bedrooms. You might be able to find 2.5 bathrooms there. In some of these areas in East Lansing and Hazlitt, Okemos, some of the more popular areas, it might still be 1.5 bathrooms because prices are just starting to creep up. You might be able to find 2 full baths there depending on the neighborhood. But again, I'm just trying to give you an expectation because every house has its own location, its own neighborhood. It's gonna be so difficult in this video to tell you each and every area. So I'm trying to blanket this so that you can have a full expectation. Now, country properties, that's something I also want to talk about here because country properties, people say, I wanna have some acreage, right? And at $300,000, you might have a better shot if you go about 30 miles out from Lansing with some property. That might be able to fit your budget. But if you get closer to the city of Lansing, just be aware it's going to be a little bit tougher. So if you're Dewitt, Williamston, Okemos, I'm not seeing a heck of a whole lot of country properties that are $300,000 or below. That kind of creeps up. One fun fact for you to know about before I get into $400,000, okay? Because I'm talking about country properties here. If you're looking for a country property and you want to have acreage, keep this rule in mind that in our area, acreage is averaging around $7,000 to $8,000 an acre. So if you're looking for a 20-acre lot, that's probably going to be around $150,000 to $200,000. A lot of it depends on if there's woods, what the functionality of the land is. So that's something that's going to be separate from the quality of the house. So keep that in mind with your budget, okay? And I wanted to address that here in $300,000 because I started talking about country homes and just figured that would be a good fact for you to be aware of. Okay, at $400,000 in the Greater Lansing, Michigan area, what can you find? Well, in the city of Lansing, again, I told you the property taxes are high. You're not gonna find a heck of a whole lot of homes at $400,000, but there are a couple streets that are along the river that have fairly large homes that are gonna be $400,000 or higher in the city of Lansing. Some of them are going for $500,000, $600,000, even $700,000. So there are some options, but those options are very limited in the city of Lansing. And again, your taxes are going to be so high. Like at $400,000, your taxable value will go to $200,000. In the city of Lansing, that's gonna be around like $13,000, $14,000, $15,000. That's gonna be quite high. Now in Okemos and Dewitt, I've said the average home price in Okemos and Dewitt is going to be around $400,000. That is true. The thing that you have to keep in mind is that that's the average home price. So you might be able to find a base built, newly built home in Dewitt at $400,000. But again, that's a spec home, that's builder grade materials. You're not paying for the additional upgrades with that. So you might be able to find a new built home in Dewitt at $400,000. That might be around 2,000 square feet. Again, that 200 a square foot rule that I told you about minimum in some of these areas. Okemos at $400,000, you might be able to get a 2,000 square foot home, but it might be still in an older neighborhood because they do have some very luxurious neighborhoods that are far eclipsing $400,000. I want you to realize that yes, while $400,000 might be a lot of money, it might not be this huge mansion maybe that you're thinking in your mind. I just sold a home for $560,000 and it was a 2,800 square foot home in Okemos. Again, there's that 200 per square foot rule that I keep telling you about. So again, hopefully the more times I say it, the more it might sink in. East Lansing, $400,000. You might be able to get into some nice areas. The average price in East Lansing is a little bit less. So there's a nice neighborhood called Hawks Nest that you might be able to check out, that a lot of the homes are built close together, but you might be able to find a newly built home in there for around $400,000. It's just your taxes might be high. Grand Ledge has cheaper taxes, and for $400,000, I think you could get a pretty stinking nice house in Grand Ledge, which is the west side of Lansing. In Holt, $400,000, you might be able to get a nice new built house with some upgrades. It's a little bit cheaper to be able to build in Holt area, and Holt is just south of Lansing. Mason, again, you might be able to get a little bit more in Mason as well. And then Williamston at $400,000 might be a little bit more affordable than Okemos, but is still a very popular area as well. So again, I'm giving you blanket statements on this, but I'm trying to give you the expectation. You might be able to find that 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house. It just depends on if you're in Okemos, you might have to have an older home. If you're in Holt, you might be able to find it in a brand new built construction home. Might be able to find a nice condo for $400,000 in some of these areas too, just to let you know. But some of them might be attached condos and some of them might be detached condos, just depending on what area you're at. $500,000. Okay, now we're talking about being above the average at a lot of these areas. So again, $500,000 in the city of Lansing, it's that same street that I told you about. You'll probably be along the river there, nice stately homes, they're older built. In East Lansing, you could get into some of the most prestigious neighborhoods like Glencairn that are older character built homes that are very close to campus. So if you do find a place that's very close to campus, but it's in an area that restricts rentals, $500,000 could get you a pretty nice stately home. Now, it won't get you into White Hills Woods where there's $1 million homes in East Lansing, but you can get into about a 2,500 square foot home in that area. In Okemos, $500,000, it could get you into, a neighborhood that might be 2,200 square feet, a 4-bed, but I feel in Okemos, if you want the move-in ready, larger house, it's going to push that even more. Even new build construction homes in Okemos right now are going for around $700,000 to $800,000. I'm just letting you know. So a $500,000 home in Okemos, it might get you into a house built in the 80s or 90s. There are some neighborhoods in Okemos like that. And it might be a little bit of a larger home, it's just gonna be a little bit older. And the location might not be as good either, or the quality of the construction might not be as good. Same thing with Hazlitt's. If you get to Dewitt, you might be able to find, like in a neighborhood like Thomas Farms, I had a client build there and they were able to get their home for around $460,000, $470,000, and it was a 2,000 square foot home with no finished basement. So you can definitely get a newer built home in some of these outside areas at around the $500,000 point. In Grand Ledge, you could be in a very nice neighborhood in Grand Ledge, because Grand Ledge average home price is starting to creep up on the west side there, but it's still less than like Okemos and Dewitt. So you might be able to find something at $475,000 there. For country properties, you might be able to find 3-bedroom or maybe even a 4-bedroom, 2 full bath home on 10 acres. It could need some work though. And it just depends on that area. If you're further away from the good locations where everything is, prices might be a little cheaper, your taxes might be a little less. But if you're closer to that city, then your taxes are gonna be higher. Location means that price is going to be higher as well. So $500,000, while it's a lot of money, depending on the area, might not get you even the nicest luxury home that maybe you're envisioning in your mind. So when you do get to new built construction homes, I kind of want to end it here because I said I would go to 500,000, but if you're looking for the luxury homes, then in Okemos, in Hazlitt, where you're going to be around the lake, I mean, it's going to be roughly minimum $750,000, so $750,000 if you want to have like a luxurious home. It's starting to go even more upwards as time goes on because cost of construction is so high. People are looking at some lots in Okemos that they're half-acre lots, an acre lot, but the minimum price is $800,000 to $900,000 to build for some of these homes. So that's what a new built construction home is starting to go for in Okemos. If you want the McMansions, I like to call them, like tons of square footage, then there's a neighborhood in Okemos that they're asking for 1.2, 1.3 million. In East Lansing, White Hills Woods, those homes are starting to go for $1 million plus. But $500,000, half that price, you'll still be able to be maybe in an HOA neighborhood, and you might be able to get 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 2,500 square feet in some of the more popular neighborhoods. And again, Grand Ledge, you might be able to get something more. Holt, there's not a lot that's going for 500,000, so you might be able to get a lot more bang for your buck. It just doesn't have quite the location there in the south side of Holt. So again, I wanted to touch on the different price points because I wanted to set the expectation for you. And hopefully I was able to cover as much as I could. I know that's a tough topic because there's over 500,000 people in the Greater Lansing, Michigan area, tons of different suburbs, but hopefully you have an idea now that you're thinking through your budget, like, okay, what's my wish list? What can I get? What can my money get for me, right? And there's just so many different things to keep in mind. And that's why a realtor is so helpful to you to be able to help you process this move that you're about to make. So if you are in need of real estate help, again, my contact information is in the description below. Love to text with you, email, call, Zoom, whatever you would prefer, I'm there. And then also, if you could like this video, if you like the content, and subscribe to my channel so that, again, you can be the first to be notified when a new episode of Lansing, Michigan Life goes live. And I continue to look forward to just the data, the information that I'm able to share with you. Hopefully it's helpful to you. So until next time, everybody, take care and make it a great day. See you next time.